Good evening, race fans. It is, well, for me, it's Thursday, September 21st, 2023. For many of you, it is September 22nd, Friday. So basically, this is what's going on. I am in Central USA time. It is 21 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time is 10 p.m. Mountain is 8 p.m. and the Pacific Coast is at 7 p.m. right now. Great time to be in the United States to be an F1 fan. FP1 is in about 10 minutes. So 9:30, we get to go. I want to thank everyone for coming up. This is the Racing Statistics YouTube channel. You are here for the Japanese Grand Prix Free Practice 1. And hi, this is Crash, and I'm here with you all weekend long. That's right. I'm doing Free Practice 1, Free Practice 2, Free Practice 3. I've got qualification, and I've got the race itself this weekend. So this is going to be fun. Ryan will be back after, this is basically just the worst possible time for Ryan to do anything. It's a great time for me to do the races. So he'll be back after this race. It's just this one race I'm filling in. As we come into this weekend, the big story is the perfect season that Red Bull had is gone. Carlos Sainz won last week's won the Singapore race. So the hopes of Red Bull, F1 TV showing Stroll's accident during Q1, I say, last week. Yeah. Ooh, and Oscar, who was basically he was the person right behind Stroll, had to basically weave around the debris of Stroll on track, and he ultimately did not get into Q2 because of that. Yeah, the Verstappen streak is over. The Red Bull streak is over. It was set, so it is set at 10 races per driver and 15 for the constructor, and they are watching fans crowding around. Looks like corner at the moment. So they've got corners being modded by fans on the raceway. Sebastian Vettel is at the track, not necessarily in the paddock, but he's at the track. What I understand is he's doing something with a insect farm, insect hotel, as what they described it as. They're showing now Russell hitting the wall and going into the barrier on the last lap. Don't get me wrong. There is a need for the work that he's doing, particularly with bees. Bees a few years ago took a real hard hit for various reasons. So, hooray! Bees are doing better. Don't get me wrong. They were in a bad place a few years ago. They have the situation with them has improved, but it's still got to be. Meow, I guess, wins the pre-session joke with the be careful in the B corner. Someone needs to behave. Oh boy, we're gonna leave the B jokes there and we're gonna move on. Again, the other thing that's going on that we need to keep an eye on is that McLaren has brought more upgrades. So all the upgrades that Lando had last week, Oscar now has, and they've brought new polished versions of those upgrades this weekend as well. So it's another level of polish on the upgrades that they have. So people are like out of just saying, hey, it could be a McLaren 1.2 and a Max 3. So that's something to be aware about. Again, with Red Bull, we need to keep an eye on, was last week a fluke? Was it just a aberration? Was it just because it was Singapore and it's a weird track? That's very much could be, that's one of the stories. We don't know. Because, and if, let's say, Red Bull goes out and Max is just dominating, it was just Singapore. But we do know that the rules did change at Singapore as well. You heard about the rules of regarding flex wings. Basically, the FIA basically said the wings can't flex as much as they used to. I mean, they're going to flex, but they need to be much stronger and much more rigid than they had previously been. And so the issue is that if Red Bull comes out and they're like doing like Max is like fifth, sixth, and Perez is like down around 10 and not making mistakes, that's a big deal. That's a big issue. So we've got a 5.8 kilometer track. It's about 0.6 miles. Top speed is going to be about 305 kilometers or 198 miles per hour. 18 turns. Elevation is about 40 meters across the track. The tires we're going to have this weekend are basically C3, C2, C1. So these are almost the hardest. So the C1 is a new compound this year. Basically, there's a C0, which was the C1 last year. So we're on the harder side for not the hardest, but just one off from being the hardest. But they are, and it is cloudy with a high level, 74% of humidity. We don't expect rain to be there. We just expect it to be cloudy and freaking humid as heck. Yeah, that level of humidity is like we're one step off from being miserable. Oh my god. You have to love the Japanese fans. There's a whole group of them who have looks like hard hat hats with a F1 wing on the top of them. Yeah, can't do that wrong. Moving on. So, in terms of the championships, Max does not have enough points to clinch the drivers' championship this weekend. He can put him like if he like with a win, he can put himself in a position where he can clinch at Qatar, and he could potentially clinch Qatar during the sprint race, which is bizarre as all heck. That fact that we're talking about that. What you guys? Yeah, I'm trying to see. I've seen you guys getting timed out. I'm trying to figure out why that is. But anyways, if Red Bull does a 1-2 this weekend, they will take the drivers' championship. That's basically where it is. On the other side, the sister team, Tsunoda has 3 points. Lawson earned 2 points last weekend. That's a big deal, and that's a growing storyline right now. Of if let's say Lawson earns more points, that becomes a bigger deal. Oscar Piastri, the other big story. I think yesterday it was announced that Oscar Piastri extended his contract with McLaren through 2026. So they've added 3 more years to his contract. Yeah, Jose. Hey, Jose. Good to see you back. Lawson is doing a great, amazing job. Yeah, like for 3 races, and he's earned 2 points already. That's pretty awesome. Again, the other rookie this year is Oscar, and we're not like. Here's how much has changed for him. We're not treating him like a rookie anymore. We're not treating him like we did with DeVries. We're not treating him like we did with like we did with Logan Sargent. We treat him like he legitimately belongs on the track, and that's an important. That's an important piece. We knew that he was a good driver. He's proven that he's a good driver, and we'll see what happens with now that he's on. His car is upgraded to about I think the same level as Lando's car right now. Right now, we've got Max on track. We've got Albon, Stroll, Russell, Perez. So I think Lawson is out, Magnussen is out, Bottas and Ocon is out right now. So we've got half of the grid out early in this session. Who will be irked by you today? Asking for a friend. Are you asking who's going to who? So let me ask who. Put in chat who's going to give me my red flag for today. My red flag in this session. Yeah, the cards have just got out. We are now about 2.5 minutes into the beginning of this session right now. I should say a minute and a half, I should say. Yeah, Red Bull is going to be fast as heck. For those who don't know, I have a bad tendency to see red flags happen as I cast. I may have sent the motorsports god into a frizzy because I casted for the last IndyCar race and we had multiple red flags, multiple yellows, multiple red flags. It was a dirty race, and ultimately when we came back to F1 last weekend, it was. Nothing happened in that regard. So the worst thing that happened was during FP1, and we had 3 incidents of glitches on track. Who is this? Which AlphaTauri is this? So one of the things that you'll see is that the cars will go out with what's called an aero rake. And it's an array on the car, and it usually in the front car, in the middle car, and one of the AlphaTauris, let's see, count what it is. AlphaTauri, I think, but one of the AlphaTauris is at the car. Off type. So this is one of the way test mix of cars. The way they do what they play a better. So basically, what's going on? That when they put his like a spray onto our. Up and I'm looking once. So, all right. Go. Yeah, still bring. Here, now we're Hamilton breaking. Let's see. Okay. I will be right back in about a minute or so. I'm gonna again, like you said, I'm gonna reset my router. I have an internet cable box, so basically, I'm gonna reset the box, and we'll reset the call. I'll be right back as soon as I can get that reset. But now is good. Wait, did it clear out now? Okay. All right. All right. Well, I guess I'm not going away now since things have cleared out. All right. Cool. So we're following along with Hamilton on track. Again, Max has set the fastest time with a 1:33.71. No one has gone in the 1:33s. We've got multiple people in 1:35s. Piastri, Leclerc, Hulkenberg, Perez, Arcon, Bottas, Sainz, and then we'll go Gasly as well in there. Who just slotted in? Alonso just went P2 with a 1:35.0. 7. So we got several people in 135s, and we got Max, who went out, looks like on a hard tire, and did a blazing fast lap because he can. People are asking, where can they watch like the race proper? You could go to Sky. Like if you're in the UK, you would go to Sky Sports. If you're in the USA, you can go to ESPN Plus. Obviously, there's the F1 TV Pro, which is actually very good. Those are and then if you're somewhere else, look at your local provider. And Magazine has just gone off track. It looks like it's not area that like it looks like it should be grass, but it's not. It has like green tarps over it for some reason. That's very weird. So he's gone off track and come back on, following Ocon around. He's right now P7 on the track. He's passing one of the Red Bulls. And I'll give you credit to these Japanese fans. They've kind of filled those stands look relatively full. Like not like they look pretty well packed for FP1. I mean, definitely there can be more, but like a lot. Like I don't see a lot of space. I would say like 70, 80% filled. Even for for FP1, that's pretty crazy. Looking at what you guys are saying right now. Max has just improved his time to 1:33.354, and he's on a hard tire. Yeah. Are they doing it? Because I see he's on the chart. I don't see a hard. I hate medium. See hards. No soft. Was there? There was some tire test with Prix. GT stands for prototype tire. No, jump 135, 137. Continue right now. Lando across his Vector 1. See what else improved his time as well. About the fifth, third, not doing great, but he's improving his times. To know, Argentina he's subsector basically fastest. Okay. You guys are saying I'm breaking up again. Again, hold on a sec. Racing Sisters, I'm going to drop from the call and I'm going to rejoin after resetting my router. And I'll be right back. So apologies, everyone. Okay, hey everyone, this is Crash back again. You're listening to the YouTube Racing Sixes on YouTube. This is the Japanese Grand Prix Free Practice 1, and I've resetted my computer, reset my router. Hopefully, you can hear me well now. If I'm cutting out, please say so, and don't know what to tell you otherwise. You hear me fine. That's great. So I blame Starfield for this. I should have known better. Danish is asking if anyone's watched the latest Lollipop Man F1 comic video. I have not had a chance to do so. It is in our Discord, just so you know. As I've been talking, Perez has just jumped to a 133.88. So he's about second and a quarter, more than a quarter than behind Max in that regards. And they are who are they bringing into the garage? Taking their sweet time to bring them into the garage. Anyways, what's going on? Yeah, no, it's not the cookies. It's Starfield. I will. It's probably most likely Starfield. I've seen I've seen other applications bogged down because I think Starfield basically has a memory leak somewhere. So I guess what I was playing before F1 today. Anyways, so we've just had Alonso jump to P2 with a 133.166. Yeah, Max did that on a hard tire. So I need to go check with F1 because I'm curious if there was another tire involved this weekend that I didn't catch. What's live time? Display that position. Still looking through. They've got. So it is a test tire. What is. So we have a test tire that people are working with. Surprised I didn't see this pop up on some. Where teams have an extra test tire today. Okay, so the test tire is a. There you go. Where I just found it. They are testing out next year's C2 rubber. Each driver has 2 sets of those test tires available for each session. Available. So there's 2 sets of those tires available for. So we'll see them in FP2. It looks like. So it's next year's C2. So it's equivalent to a medium tire. It could be a soft tire. I mean, it's a C2. It could be a soft tire. It could be a medium. Worst scenario, it could actually be a hard because of the C0 compound. So just out of craziness, it could in theory be a hard in one scenario. I don't think they'll go that way, but it could be. Lawson already beating Tsunoda, as one person has already pointed out. Right now, Lawson is P13 with 135. I don't think Tsunoda has set a time. He's on an outlap right now, but he has not set a time yet. So that's give it a time. Albon right now on that new C2 test tire. Yeah, LX is basically saying that Lawson basically, this is probably his last weekend in the F1 car. It's very likely in 2 weeks that Daniel will be back at Qatar in the race. If things go poorly, Lawson can drive one more weekend, and as I'm talking, Max just did a 132.442. Moved like about a tenth and a half, I believe. So what we're seeing now with Red Bull 1 and Perez 2 is that Singapore was just a bad track for Red Bull that weekend. It was a setup issue, and it's nothing to do with the new regulations on the wing. That's the one thing that was, again, we kind of knew that Singapore, if like we one weekend doesn't make a trend, and so we now see that basically, yeah, redemption weekend for Red Bull. Screw Singapore. Lawson is very familiar with his track from Super. Well, he is, but he will race in Super Formula later next month. It's the same weekend as the Mexican Grand Prix. So him to be here racing on the track for that one is going to immensely help him. When he races later next month in the Super Formula car. It just hey, I've been on the track. It's going to help you. Mark Blazer saying, looks like the Max Verstappen post race podcast is back on. Why did Joe get re-signed? Because he's actually he's not. He got re-signed because he's doing the best he can in a garbage car. He's actually a decent driver. He's not a great driver, but he's a decent driver. But the car he's in is pitiful. It is probably ninth on the grid. Is depending on the weekend, they are one of the worst cars. Haas is in that category, and AlphaTauri is in that bottom three. Each weekend, it's a hold my beer who's got the worst car each weekend. Yeah, Jose is pointing out that Williams has been all over the place over this with great showing speckle here and there. Yeah, but it's mostly Albon who's showing how good he is, and how much he's been able to pull out that car. Logan has shown he's okay, but he's not particularly very good. He's in the back, like where Albon is performing. Sargent has not been performing. There's definitely a talent gap to it at the moment. What do we expect to get during FP1 and FP3? Part of it is basically rates. Right now. Basically, so as a text, I just agree that it's hot in Japan. I mean, it's hot for Japan, but it's also has a large amount of humidity. Which, if you're not on the coast of Texas, that's a big piece. My mic is taking a dump again, and I don't know why. I haven't touched the mic. I mean, I reset everything on my end. I've reset my computer. I haven't touched the mic or any wires. So it could be very much an issue that's going on at the moment. How do you think Tsunoda will be doing on home turf? I hope that he's going to do well. I mean, best case scenario, he's on the podium. That's like over the moon, best case scenario. But ultimately, like if he's in the points this weekend, that's a good weekend for him. Oh, good. It's back again. So it is probably much of internet connection. And I don't know. I'm and then bounce from overseas back to YouTube, then to wherever you are at. So, bouncing around the earth over the internet. And FP3 there's some testing that's going to go on in FP3 as well. Some race run stuff will happen in FP3. Tsunoda has moved up to P13 with 135, 152. He's jumped ahead of his teammate Lawson. And then who is out on track? It's just Russell's on an outlap right now. Albon's out there right now. And Stroll is on an outlap right now. Hamilton is the reason to end Red Bull dominance. That's interesting. Albon is on the test compound. Gasly is listed as being on the test compound right now. So Lawson, Gasly, Stroll are on outlaps at the moment. Hamilton's on outlap. So it's Tsunoda and Albon who are not on outlaps right now. For those who don't know, when I say an outlap, they've just left the pit. This is the lap in which they've left the pit and haven't crossed the start line again. Russell starting a flying lap. May have gone a little too late. It felt like he went a little too late. We'll see. But he's now doing a flying lap. And he's going to improve on his time with a 1:30.154. Same as what Pat Piastri did. And 0.2 slower than like Perez's best time. So he's, again, it ends up being 0.5, 5.69 slower than Verstappen in Sector 1. But still improvement on his previous time. And he is on the test compound. No, he's on a medium compound. It's odd that it is how the F1, one of the F1 graphics doesn't update correctly. Odd. Guys, so you guys are like complaining about like how like Texas is hot. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm in North Texas. I had literally like 3 months, like 30 plus days over 2 months where I was 100 degrees. 90 degrees most of the time. The issue about humidity is that Texas is huge. In North Texas, I am several hours away from the coast, so I'm not getting the humidity. Like now, if we were in Houston, which is on the coast, you're pretty much walking through a cloud. I mean, that's just what it's like. I'm used to being in New England. I'm within an hour of the coast. I used to get that humidity. Oh yeah, it's not the heat that gets you; it's the humidity. Like a 90-degree dry heat, perfectly nice, feels nice. 90-degree with humidity, you are miserable. You are completely miserable. One of the Alfa Romeos doing a pit lane exit, test start from the pit lane. Ooh. And then which AlphaTauri is that? I believe that might be Albon going around what looks like Hamilton's car. So yeah, no, I mean basically, yeah, I mean you're in Aruba, you're an island dude. It's 90 degree all year round, and it's 96 weeks. But you have a nice wind that helps a lot. Of course it does. But you're also an island, so of course you're going to have the nice breeze all the time. Moving forward. F1 is just brought up a stat about Lawson. He's the first driver to earn their maiden points at Singapore. So looking right now, Lawson has improved on his first sector. Coming into his second sector right now. He's going to improve there with a 142.239 in that sector. He's still a second 0.2 back from Verstappen. We've got Lance Stroll up in P4 with 133.710. So our top 5 right now is Verstappen, Alonso, Hamilton, Stroll, Russell. Perez is 6. Lawson is now 8. And we're in the 133s, with Max being the only one in the 132s. Leclerc, Sainz, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Zhou, Tsunoda, Albon, Ocon, Magnussen, Sargent round out the back 10. Yeah, we're hitting the halfway mark of the session right now. Again, this is the Racing Tickets YouTube channel. We are doing our live watch along for the Japanese Free Practice 1 session. This is, again, Grash. I'm here with you all weekend long. I'll be doing all of the practices, the qualification session, and the race itself this weekend. I'm doing this because basically I'm in the United States, so right now it's just hit 10 p.m. Where I'm at. Whereas it's the middle of the night for Ryan, so it's just a worst possible time to do it. So I'm stepping in for quali and the race this weekend. One of the things that just brought up in channel, like if you have not liked or subscribed, now's a great time to do it. Liking us helps us with that YouTube logarithm. Again, I want to thank for the 2,300 so odd that are here right now. You can also join the channel. Basically, if you next time you see me type in chat, you'll see that my badge. You'll see people with with a star badge. They even call it basically how long they've been with the channel. I think I'm the only one with the purple badge at the moment, which means I've been with the channel over 2 years. Literally like from day two, I think day 2 of streaming when the channel started. I did, before Racing Tickets, it does have other channels that he did do F1 on another channel before starting this particular channel. Hulkenberg has just jumped to P3 with 133.448. Perez out there on a fast lap, improving. Russell has jumped to a P4. See where Perez go. He's right now P8. Perez is only 3/10 off of Max right now. That would put him around P2, and that's actually where he slots in. It's a 133.043. So Red Bull dominant right now. Max is on a outlap, and note that Hulkenberg and Perez are on soft tires. So we've got a Japanese fan who's dressed up in a Mexican flag and a Echo his face once came on the Red Bull styled hat with go and with red across it. You got to give the Japanese fan dress up. Yeah, just it's pretty how they dress up. On F1 TV is doing it's flying on. He was off 70 degrees, beautiful morning. That's nice, my friend. Where I've been, 90 degrees, sounds pretty nice. Let's be 130 possible. He's in sector 1, 32 in that sector. He comes on, he's about to finish second, third, past the 41.69. He's got to go around check. That impact anything. Well, actually, he's about almost 8 faster than his previous lap. And on timing sheet, he's going to finish with a 131.647. So not the like the 132.2, but close, close. Very, very fast. 131. No one else is in the 132 right now. So that's a huge jump in time for Max, and showing that again, Red Bull dominance right now. I'm just trying to look at what's going on at the moment. What is that, a replay of one of the Williams? What's going on? I am not skipping. I am actually not talking at the moment. I need a moment so I can take a take a moment to take in what's going on. We're following along with the Ferraris right now. Leclerc has just done a sector one. He's 1/10 slower than Verstappen, and Sainz is 3/10 slower than Verstappen in sector one. So they are on flying laps right now, and these are on softs. So we're about 24 minutes left in this session. We've got the soft breaking up. Now, okay. So, for those who are in chat now, this is other channel. He does statistic video, new video, your see, watch when this video, like again, science science the 1.273 and 32.93. So it's about 4 difference between science and Clerk. Yeah, and this was another line. What website is this on? We are on the YouTube channel for Racing Statistics. If you're watching us somewhere else, ooh, Oscar having a nasty slide, managed to keep control of the car, so he's still going, and not just probably some skids on the tires. One of the AlphaTauris going the long way around turn 13. Looks like came in and basically it was not enough room for them to get around the curb. Max did that lap on soft tires. The top four are all on soft tires. Hulkenberg is on a soft tire. Alonso is on an out lap right now. Sargent 2.6 seconds behind Verstappen on a soft tire. And that's just by sector 2. He's not improving his times. Bottas did improve his times. He's at a 133.86. That puts him in a P11. Sargent he improves in his third sector. He ends up being 2.8 seconds off from Verstappen. Albon right now on an outlap. Which tire is he on, though, is the better question. Replay of Hamilton. A little bumpiness over the curbs, but nothing major. Oh, the back of his car went over curbs, and that back piece basically picked up dust and dirt into the air. Probably would be sparking if this was at night. We got Alonso right now following him along on screen. This is getting just finished his lap. Again, is flying now. Where is he on? Yeah, getting his lap, and he is on tires. All the top tires being done with soft tires. A flyby of the Ferrari before hitting the first turn. When he left in this session, and yeah, it's going to be dry for the rest of the session, even though it is going to be it's very humid, it is overcast. So Alonso has improved in his time. Albon's jumped up to P4 with a 132.9. Where's Alonso? Alonso's about to finish his second sector. He does a 141.91. So he's about 0.4 off just in that sector alone to Max, and another 0.4, I think, off of Max in sector 1. I'll have the exact time in a moment. So it's a 0.716 behind Max after two sectors. Ricky McQueen says, is Vegas going to be a night race? Yes, it is going to be a night race. So what's interesting is that the time that Vegas is going to start is equivalent, if you do the math, the time zone math, it is the same start time as the Australian Grand Prix in terms of time zones. It's going to be local 10 p.m. Pacific. I believe it's 10 p.m. Pacific for the Vegas race. And I believe they're in Pacific time zone. So for me, the race is starting at midnight. As we come through, again, we're under 20 minutes right now. We have Verstappen first, Sainz second, Alonso sliding third. He's a second behind Max after that third sector. Leclerc is fourth. Albon is fifth. Perez third. Hulkenberg is seventh. Russell is eighth. Norris ninth, and Hamilton 10th. So again, Albon being the whisperer of, oh, he is during his run, he has AlphaTauri, a Williams, and a Alpine he has to pass through on a short period of time. He does do so well, so that's definitely in his favor. Mercedes right now we're on medium tires. There are prototype tires. I think Norris is the last one. Norris and Piastri were the last two on those prototype tires. They are equivalent to a C2, so this weekend they're going to be equivalent to a medium tire. And the material and rubber that they're testing on those prototype tires are slated to be next year's C2 tire. One of the issues that Pirelli has had this year is that they found very quickly that drivers were going faster and pushing more downforce into the tires than previously expected. And while the current year tires that we started with at the beginning of the year were okay, Pirelli opted to be forward looking and brought out for Silverstone. They brought out that again. We had tested them about a month earlier, and I think in Spain. But ultimately, Pirelli got agreement to bring out essentially a new tire construction that was intended for next year's cars. That is where things are going right now. And I just a moment of interesting internet connection skip. I should be back right now. And no, basically, Chico is expected next year. He's going to drive next year. That's what it comes down to. He's going to drive next year. Max coming on out lap. Oscar's up to P12. Tire. Stroll he's on a soft tire. He's about 2 seconds behind. He's going to jump to P8, 1.30. So he's a fourth. It's like 3.9 something, rounded up 1.4. And this is actually a really great place. Quite honest with you, before I started actually races themselves, I was just following along the timing chart, following what's going on in chat, following on with the time chart, what's going on with the drive, with the chart on on screen app, and that's how I got started watching. I didn't realize I had access to ESPN Plus, so I started watching ESPN. I'm in the United States. On top of that, basically, there was always some issues of ESPN Plus being behind several seconds. So I basically, for this year, ponied up for F1 TV. Again, also I'm commentating, so I decided to pony up for F1 TV for that reason. Are you also going live for FP2 later? Yes, we are. I will be back for FP2 later today. Tomorrow, I will be back for FP3 and quali, and then the next day for the race itself. So you've got Garage all weekend long. McCreed's asking, what Checo contract is ending? Right now, it ends not this year, but next year, end of 2024. So he's got through this year and next year to drive. And then where Red Bull decides to go, I mean, it's up to, go to Vegas, put your bet down. You could be right, you could be wrong. Wouldn't put too much money down. Lawson right now improving in his first sector. Coming to the end of his second sector, he will improve 42 seconds in that sector. I will get you the exact behind for Verstappen in a moment. Lawson's going to finish his sector. He's going to jump up. So he's 133.5. Again, Max has done the 131.67. So Lawson's jumped up to P6. His teammate is B19. Tsunoda, though, now is under 13 in this session now. One in FP2, so that will be we've got about 12 minutes left of the session. That's going to bring us to basically winter hour mark local time. Then another 2.5 hours after that, FP2 will start. We will be live about 2 hours. About 2 hours from now, we'll be live again for FP2. We start with music before we bring commentators. It might be breaking because I have been working all day. So I've been talking for several hours earlier today before I had a chance to take a break, but I'm starting to feel it in my throat at the moment. What tire is Norris on? Norris is on a prototype tire right now. Yeah, US, like it is 10:18 p.m. in Central Time. this session 10:30, and then at midnight when it's at went to start for me. Again, if you want to know exactly when your sessions are going to start for you in your local time, the website. You scroll down. There's a wonderful piece. It's noticed just jumped to 130.597. So we've got him jumping at his teammate. The teammates are taking over each other. Robert Swan is in paddock for Ferrari. He's reserve driver. He just moved from Houston to hot. Yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, go to the F1 website, scroll down. There's a section sponsored by Rolex, and ultimately it will scroll to the current race and time, start time in your local time. You can flip it to the track time, but if you're curious. But for me, it's always in the local time is always useful. So Yuki has jumped to P4. We've got 10 minutes to go in the session right now. We've got Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc, Tsunoda in the top 4. Lando Norris, Albon, Lawson make the top 8. Stroll, Perez, Hulkenberg, Russell, top 12. Hamilton, Prasky, Bottas, Gasly, top 16. Magnussen, Ocon, Sargent, Zhou fill out the last 4 spots. Yeah, this one of the AlphaTauri that they are shifting how their car is constructed, and it's going to be more akin to the Red Bull car. They're going to literally just essentially buy parts from Red Bull for their car going forward. This is very much like the same, like how Haas is very much a reflection of the Ferrari car. We're going to see the same thing with AlphaTauri now being more a reflection of the Red Bull car, the way they're going. And they're going through the same style where AlphaTauri is technically buying the parts from Red Bull for their car. Of Hamilton on a flying lap right now, or it looks like he was on a flying lap a moment ago. And one of the AlphaTauris has FlowWiz on the back of his wing. And you can see that because there's this it's either a bright green or a bright orange color that's being used for basically the FlowViz paint. Space is saying it's FP1, don't read too much in the times. Otherwise, he's saying we're talking about practice. You can look up AI from the NBA talking about practice. That's a meme all to itself. Less than 7.5 minutes left to go in this session. Looking at what you guys are saying right now. It's just in that we're going to compare drivers from different eras. It's just gonna be that's the case. Yeah, but Space, we hear that all the time in practice. These practice sessions. Oh, it's only practice. Well, yeah, it's only practice. But you know what? Let people have fun. We've seen crazy stuff happen in practice, and be like, let them be happy. Because someone's leading practice. Dude, that might be the best thing all weekend in some cases. Particularly, it's like if you're a Haas fan, if Haas is leading the session, you're all happy because the Haas is leading the session. Because that's all you're going to get. That's where Haas is right now. We've got some Lewis Hamilton fans. We've got a lovely LH with a heart with the British flag in the middle of the heart. Yuki's coming back out. Paul ain't going back to bed despite the time. It's early for me to go to bed, Paul. St. Jojo, we'll be buying engine, gearbox, suspension, Red Bull. They have to make their own chassis and aero package, but they're not going to be too creative with their aero package. I mean, we have some rain. They just put a shot of rain over water getting raindrops in it. So we just keep an eye on. It shouldn't rain, but never know with that. With a lot of humidity, you can just get rain out of nowhere just because the water is just in the air. 4 minutes and 5 seconds. No red flag. Hey, I got 5 minutes. I've got 5 minutes for statistics. Come on, Stroll. You got 5. You can do it in 5 minutes. You've done it in less than 5. You did it in 3 one session. Willie Giller saying that Lawson should be permanent. He probably should be permanent. The problem is, will he be permanent with AlphaTauri next season? And that's the big question: is where he will end up being. Pretty much, the seats that are still haven't been settled are the 2 AlphaTauri and the 1 Williams seat for Sargent. That's, as far as I understand, those are the only 3 seats that are not locked down for next year. He does deserve a seat. Like, don't get me wrong, Lawson deserves a seat for sure. So does Schwartzman. So does Drogovic. There's a ton, like, let's be honest. Like, the year after that, Oscar won F2, he deserved to be in F1 and didn't get the seat. Gasly's just moved up to P11. Russell up to P12. So we're in the 130 for both of the drivers at the moment. And that's a function of that there are not enough teams in F1. There's only 20 cars. There's only 10 teams, only 20 cars. That makes it hard to get people into F1. You know, when we go look at like the American racing scene, like with NASCAR, with IndyCar, we're talking like 27 cars minimum. A lot of times getting up into 30, 33, 35 cars sometimes. We've got Pierre Gasly fans. We've got French flags. And we've got they've got these like these fans. They're like they've decorated one side with the driver, and they're showing off a. See, we got Sergio Perez play. Something happened on this lap. He's going across the green. Ooh, misses the turn and goes green, which is he's so it's AstroTurf. Let's be honest. They've got this like green AstroTurf down. When he went across, he ripped up a big patch of it. It's not like settled in like grass normally is. It's just like patches of this green AstroTurf. Yeah, no rail flags, no red flags, none, no lizards, no hedgehogs, no crazy protesters on track, no fear of the light systems, no camera systems. No, well, that one car each team that doesn't make any sense because now they're not teams anymore. Yeah, I mean, like one of the big things we have a replay. What's going on? Oh, the replay. Okay, it's for no. Okay, so this is a back to Melbourne. What's going on? They must be showing something because they're showing a driver in a Renault uniform. I think this is Palmer from Renault back when it's Palmer. So they're showing back him back in the day when he was a driver. Needs to cap teams at 12. It needs team. They need 12 teams. Is Andretti the only big name entry for F1? They're the biggest one. Though High Tech is another one. Izumi is another contender. We know that Andretti is probably in. It's a question, are they going to bring another team in? Are the Alpha Boys out there? Yeah, pretty much everyone's on track at this point. We are 1 minute left. And so pretty much everyone's on track. The reason why you see everyone on track at this point is because they all want to be on track when the session ends, so they can do a practice start at the end of the session. I've got 40 seconds to go, and no incident has happened, which is boo-hoo. This is like the third session in a row where I've not got in. No, F1 does not have to approve. FIA will approve Ferrari Andretti, and they will be admitted to the grid. That's how the Concord rules. Actually jumps to a P6 at the end of the session. 12 seconds ago. Norris is into P7. Yeah, I think I spent a lot of time on the IndyCar for that last race, so the guys are asleep at the moment. Norris just jumped to P3. So Science is finished. So we're now finishing their laps. They will get time for the last. Kyle's asking, I wonder how Grosjean will do with the Lamborghini next year after being by Andretti. Like, dude, there's a reason why he was dropped by Andretti. And we've got Yuki side by side with Logan Sargent at the moment. 5th and 19th. Logan gets ahead. Yuki's up behind him. You gonna pass him? No, it's just showing wheel-to-wheel action with those two. Here's Max coming across the line. I don't think he's not improving his time. So he's about to finish. So here we are. We are at the end of P1. We're pretty much waiting for cars to come across the line to finish their lap. In another minute or so, we will see them come around and start doing the practice starts at the start finish line. So I want to thank for there were like almost like 2,500 of you watching at one point. Last I checked at peak, we had about 360 views. You guys haven't liked yet? Now's a great time to do it before you go. Thank you for coming. This again, the YouTube for Racing Statistics, and this is our Japanese Free Practice 1 Watchalong. Again, I've been Grash. I know I've been cutting out. Hopefully my internet connection will be a little more stable. Later tonight will be less people on the internet, basically. What it amounts to. We will be back in about 2 hours to start FP2, and I'll be about 10 minutes before 10-15 minutes session. I'll be on to bring you any news if there's any. And we're watching Logan and Yuki side by side. Logan is like worrying why Yuki is on his rear the whole run. His engineer has to tell him to ignore Yuki. So, all right. Again, this has been Crash. This is Racing Statistics on YouTube. This was Free Practice 1. Max is first, Science is second, Norris third. Leclerc 3, Tsunoda 5th, Alonso 6th, Piastri 7th. Albon 9th, Lawson is 9th, and Stroll is 10th. That's where we right now. We have a prototype tire this weekend. If the tire was not used in this session, we'll see some teams use it in the next session. So I want to thank everyone who's coming, and I will see you in about 2 hours for FP2. Stay safe, be hydrated, and we'll see you soon.